All right. Let me just jump over to my, here we go, to my camera here. How you guys doing? Tristan Barracks here, the digital storyteller. It is super late over in my end of the world, my edge of the world in Toronto, Canada. But I want to jump on here because I wanted to share with you of my Luts, my Lut Packs. So these Luts are actually designed for people that, people of color, people that have darker skin like myself. And I wanted to actually do it this late, like at 11:30, because, well, frankly, I mean, I don't get to talk to a lot of people on the other side of the world in Asia and in Europe and in other parts of the world. So I wanted to have this opportunity to kind of make this video, to talk to you guys, to connect with you guys, and also to share with you guys just exactly how to install the Luts and how to use them on different skin tones and different lighting situations. So now that we have that all set up, let's jump into this. Please forgive me because I'm super tired, but nevertheless, I am ready to go. Let me just jump into here and we'll jump to the screen mode here, and I want to make sure that my window is not too big. Perfect. So all right, so we're in Final Cut Pro, and I have a few different files here ready to go. A couple of them are not exactly where I want them to be, so I'm just gonna move these around a little bit so we can kind of appreciate the video a little bit more. A couple of these are slow-mo clips. Okay, these are all 100%. Okay, perfect. So for those of you that don't know what a LUT is, it stands for lookup table, and a lookup table, just think of it as a preset. So many times you'll see LUTs for Photoshop or for for Adobe Premiere or for Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve, and all they are presets. They're predetermined preset files or settings, color settings that will give you a good starting point. So my LUTs are no different. They'll give you a good starting point, but you definitely want to expose your footage before you actually put on the LUTs, expose it properly. So that being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to jump into first this beautiful picture of this wonderful model here. And normally, you'd go into Final Cut and you would go and you would crush your blacks and then bring up your whites a bit, and kind of depending on how crunchy you want this image to be, you'll crunch your midtones down, or you can bring it up if you want it more washed out. I like mine a little more crunchy, a little more stylized, a little bit more contrast, and then you can add your saturation in there, and boom, boom, boom. That's a pretty nice image. It's a little oversaturated, but that's sort of what you would get normally, right? Well, instead of doing that, what I did was I created these set of LUTs. So if I go to Final Cut's filter areas, and then I go under, type in LUTs, it'll show me all the different LUT plugins I have for my use, and then I can click on the LUT, the custom LUT one, and I'll just drag it onto the clip. Now when I do that and I go back to my inspector window under effects, I will see the LUT filter already applied, and then right now it's none, so I didn't actually apply or add a LUT to it. If I wanted to, I can add any of these LUTs. So if I go to my Cinecut balance +2, then that's what that LUT will look like. If I wanted to add my Brown Bride collection, so the Brown Bride collection is basically a collection of LUTs that are designed for brides of color. So like, the deep browns, deep reds, lighter skinned brown brides, all of those sort of skin tones are kind of emulated or complemented with these LUTs. So if I go to Brown Bride 1, then I have this sort of look where the skin is a little bit lighter with a little bit more red in it, and if I want to, I can always go to my effects area or my color correction area, and I can add in some extra dramatic elements to it. So if I want to just bring this down a bit and add a little bit more contrast, I can do that. If I still want to, maybe cool it down a bit or warm it back up all the way up, I can do that as well, depending on the look that I'm looking for. But again, you could see how powerful the LUT is, because again, it just gets you to that point so much easier and so much quicker. So if we go to Brown Bride 2, right, Brown Bride 3, and they're really just subtle adjustments. I didn't try and go overboard and over stylize things. There are some LUTs that are stylized, but most of it is just very very simple, very subtle, Like this one's a little bit more stylized, but again, depending on the look that you're going for, if you're going for like that washed look, low contrast look, you know, more of a brighter, airy kind of look, then you can go with that. You can always make adjustments and tweak to it. These are just base points, right? So again, all of these are just base points. You know that this is the same sort of washed look with a little bit more contrast to it. This is more of a yellow, a very warmed look with the skin tones a little bit more yellow. So again, it really just depends on your own preference. This is just a super stylized one. I just liked how it looked. Honestly, I don't think I would put this full strength. I'll probably put this about this much strength, and then I would go back to my color correction tools, and then I would play around with it and see what I could do with it. If I wanted to warm it up, I could warm it up, right? And then I could have kind of a stylized, almost like a gold look to it. So again, so that's the Brown Bride. Now, if you're looking to try and install these LUTs, the way that you would do that is when you go into the custom LUT chooser. And by the way, if you do have questions, that reminds me, if you do have questions, please let me know. Let me just jump over here and make sure that if you have any questions, let me know. Any questions at all, I'm here to answer them. And if you are getting anything out of this video, please give me a thumbs up, or give the video a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel. So yeah, so basically, if I go to none, then I'll take that LUT off. If I want to load a LUT into Final Cut Pro, then what I want to do is I want to go down to where it says choose custom LUT, and I can click on that, and then I can basically go through, find the LUT that I want, and then select it and press open. I already have the brown LUTs already added in there, so I don't have to re-add it again. But that's the way you do it. So once you purchase the LUT and you download it from my store, all you have to do is literally open up the zip file and then locate where you want to load it. Now, the other thing you can do too, which is something that I realize as well, is that you can actually use a lot of these LUTs for photos as well. But keep in mind that photos generally are have a little more contrast and a little bit more saturation. So just again, for the sake of the argument, if I started out with a picture profile, which by the way, these picture profiles I'm using for the most part are picture profile 7 in the Sony cameras. If you're using other cameras, you can still use these LUTs, but you just have to keep that in mind that I'm using a pretty flat look. Like this is pretty darn flat in my opinion. If you aren't using as flat of a look, then what I would suggest is that you do what you normally do in terms of building your contrast and all of those things. So I'm just gonna go back here and build out my contrast. So like if you're starting out with a look like this, that's already very close to what you want, you can still apply the LUT. So if I go back to Brown Bride, the only difference is, whoops, Final Cut didn't like that. Looked like Final Cut didn't like that. Ooh, that's not good. Final Cut quit on me. And I have a Mac Pro, so as you can imagine, I'm kind of annoyed with that. Give me a second here. I'll just show you this. Let me jump back into the project that we were in here. I have a whole bunch of like high fidelity, full raw footage, so it's like it's giving some issues here, but it's fine. All right, so if we go here and we go to Brown Bride, like I was saying before, now because we already kind of had a set point already, we had our contrast and we had some of our saturation built in. When you add a LUT, it doesn't even matter if it's my LUT, if it's any LUT, it's going to be too strong. So what you want to do is you want to go down to the mix area, and you actually want to bring down how much of the LUT you're actually adding, right? And then you pick a point that you like, a set point, and say, okay, 48% or 50% is what I want, or maybe I want only 15%, right? And then what a lot of people do is they'll do that, and then um, they'll go back to adding another LUT, and they'll be like, you know what, I want to mix two LUTs together. I used to do that quite a bit, and it works really, really well. Maybe I like the brown skin LUTs as well, so I'm gonna pick a brown skin LUT as well, and that's a little bit too heavy, and then I'm going to mix that in, and I have a certain look, right? Or I'm just like, you know what, I don't like this other LUT. I'm just gonna use this LUT here, and I'm gonna mix it in and just add it in subtly and add a little bit of gold tones. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with it. This is one setup which is indoors, and this was shot on the A73, and this is another shot here. We'll go into the brown skin LUTs, and I'm just gonna click on brown skin LUT 7, and this is a setup right there. Okay, and as you can see, like right out the gate, it's pretty darn good. Like, you don't really have to do much with it. I tried to get like more of a richer, warmer skin tone setup in there. So again, if you like it, you can always pick it up. The link should be in my previous bios, or I'll put it in the video once I'm done the stream here. And this is like literally, this is like one click, and you're already like really close to where you need to be, right? So let's look at some. This is some footage outdoor in New York. I was actually in Brooklyn, and this particular shoot was done during winter like 2-3 years ago. And with a lot of these LUTs, like they're optimized for a certain type of setting, certain type of lighting. So if you're just gonna add this on and not think about it, it's gonna automatically just put the LUT on there, but it's not going to think about white balancing and all the other stuff. So that's something that you want to think about. You're either going to white balance before and add your contrast before, or you're going to white balance and add your contrast after, right? And make your adjustments after. So if you add the LUT on here, right, as you can see, it's pretty blue in the in pretty much every part of the frame. So one of the things I like to do is you can either use the curves or the wheels, like they say, the color wheels, or you can use the color board. I prefer to use the color board for these sort of things. I have my shadow, midtones, and highlights. I'm gonna start out with my midtones, and I'm gonna actually reduce the blue in the picture. And as I reduce the blue, you can see now we're getting back the true sort of tones of everything. Now, you don't want to go too far unless you really, really want to have that sort of warm brown look. It kind of looks a little vintagey. I kind of like that. And then I'm going to take my whites, and I'm going to just bring my white over to yellow, and I'm just going to make it a little bit more warmer. Okay, and just with those two movements, we went from this to this. So literally it was like 2 steps, right? We added the LUT, and then we just warmed it up and made sure that it looked good that way. Now, the other thing that we can do is we could still go to our exposure, and we can bring down this if we want more contrast. If we want less contrast, we can do that. Also, we can bring down our highlights, not too much, because then it'll affect the whole gambit of the frame. We can bring our blacks and really crush our blacks. I wouldn't suggest you do that. Or you can bring your blacks up. You can stylize it however you want. The whole idea of the LUTs is just, again, I'm tired, or I was tired of seeing so many LUTs that people were using, and it was just like they weren't for black skin tone. So I just wanted to create a set that could work right out the box for black skin tone. So that's sort of what it looks like there. Now, if I jump into the brown bride set, that's a little bit different, but we can see this is already a little bit too warm, but you can see the difference in terms of the different color palettes and the color tones. So this has less contrast and it's a little bit more yellow. I can go here and I can correct for that. I can be like, you know what, that's too much yellow. I'm going to bring it back. Maybe I'm going to bring it over this way. Maybe I want it just like that, and then bring it down and it's a little bit more neutral. And maybe I want to add more contrast, or maybe I want to add more saturation. I can bring that up and, you know, bring my midtones up and add that saturation that I want, or I can add more crunch and more pop to it, right? So it all depends on what you're looking for. And then it still gives you enough flexibility, these LUTs, to be able to like really stylize things. Now this is a little bit off here because it's just the way I crushed it down. So these are just some different looks, just depending on the lighting situation you're in. This is just a stylized, just again, I was playing around. I had some fun with some of the styles here. But again, you can go through them and check them out and see which ones really work for you the best. I'm gonna jump into some more A73 footage. So I have some workout footage here. It's probably not the best shot. Let me just move that over a bit. So we have some slow-mo workout footage. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to highlight these two clips, and I am going to add the LUT. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my warm skin LUTs, and I'm going to hit on warm skin LUTs 1, and right away you see, voila. Hold on, I'll add that same. There you go. Right, I didn't have to do anything with it. If you wanted to add more things to it, you can, but pretty much it's already ready to go. It's already set up. It's good to go. You can go ahead and just basically export this, and this is ready to go. All right, again, I just want to show you how easy it is. This is some FS5 Mark II footage. So if I click on custom LUT, and I'm going to go to brown skin LUTs, and I'm going to use brown skin LUT 2. And voila. It just makes the skin pop, you know, crushes the blacks the way it needs to be crushed, and it just looks damn good. I love this. Let me know if you have any questions, and also where you're watching this from. Where you from? Where you watching the replay? All that good stuff. All right. So we have this now, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually take some of this footage from my dad here. Let me take a little bit of footage from my pops here. I'm just gonna turn off the audio on this, and I'm going to shorten this down to 4 seconds. I haven't actually tried this footage yet, but this is Zcam footage, and this is raw Zcam footage. So it's 4K at 60 frames per second or something like that, open gate or something like that. So I'm gonna go in, and I am going to jump into brown skin LUTs, and I'm gonna go to brown skin LUT 2. All right, so it's a little hot, and that's okay because the actual image that we're coming from is a little bright as well. So we can either pull this back a bit, or what we can do is we can go to our color correction, and we can just bring this down a bit. Now what I would probably do in this particular situation is I would probably do my color correction first. So I'd do like a little bit of just correcting and just get the image to a place that I want it to be. Then when I add in this, I can bring it down a little bit. So it's just adding a little bit of pop to the skin tones. All right, so it just adds a little bit of stylized. So it takes it from sort of this brown here, and then maybe it just adds a little bit more red. For this particular one, if you go to number 1, it changes it a little bit. If you go to, I don't know, number 6, it brings down the highlights a little bit, and it brings it a little more green. So that's how you would work it. And really and truthfully, you really, what I designed the brown skin. Now this is not fully there, so this is how it looks when you're adding it at full strength. But most of the time you don't want to add it at full strength. What you want to do is you want to add it at like a half strength, like somewhere around 50%. And then when you add in the contrast, then it mixes together really, really well. Now again, you may not like the red, so you can always change or take out the red out of your image and just kind of change that a little bit. It's really up to you. It's just about what interests you and what really allows you to be as creative as possible. Here's another image here where this is someone dancing outside here. It's a really beautiful shot. I want to see if I can get a little bit more here. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go again to the Lut, custom Lut, add that in. And then this is again FS5 footage. So you can use any of the brown skin Luts or the brown Brad Luts, because those are designed for Sony cameras. So I'm actually going to go to warm skin Luts. I'm going to hit on the warm skin Lut 1, and voila. Now I'll show you that again. It's pretty good, right? You may want to tweak the highlights a bit because maybe it might be too blown out for you. That's really your personal preference. Let's add some Zcam Luts. So I'm going to add some Zcam Luts to this. So this is Zcam. I'm going to use one of the Zcam Cine looks, and I'm going to add that. So this is Cine look 1. This is Cine look 2. Let's jump to 6, Cine Lut. And again, you can make adjustments, tweak it how you like, tweak the mixing of depending on how you actually filmed and recorded the footage. If it was Rec 2020, then you want to make sure that it's in Rec 2020. If it wasn't Rec 2020 that you filmed in, then you keep it to Rec 709. Right, so there's different setups. Again, these are base points, so then you go from there and then you make your tweaking. Right, with this I would probably add some contrast. So I'd probably come in, add a little bit of contrast, and actually bring out my my graph for this. Bring this up a little bit. There you go. And then what I'll do is I would add in a Lut, and I'd have some fun. So I'd go to the brown skin Zcam and see how that would look. Okay, so that's a little orange, right? Just mix in. I could mix in a little bit, or what I could do is I could actually bring up my everything here in the midtones, and then re-add a little bit more, and I could adjust. Can adjust this a little bit, and we have that there. Now, if you don't like with the Zcam, sometimes when you're shooting log, and this is how it is for a lot of footage. If you're shooting log, then sometimes you'll get noise, unwanted noise. So one of the things you can do is or a trick is make sure that you kind of crush your blacks as best as possible. And I'm literally gonna bring up the brightness a bit, crush my blacks again. And then bring up my midtones just slightly, not too much. This is a little too bright. Perfect. I may take some more red out of it because there's a little bit too much red. So I can either take out that red by reducing the amount of this brown skin LUT that I'm using, Zcam LUT, changing it, right? Or I can add another color correction area, and I can just go in and actually say, okay, this is a little bit much. I like the color, but it's just a little bit too much, and just reduce it. Take the saturation down. Hey, for those of you that are new, that are checking this out, I am Tristan Barracks, the digital storyteller, and I am just showcasing some of my new filters that I created called the brown skin LUTs. So I have the brown skin LUTs both for Sony cameras and for the Zcam. And then I also have brown bride, which is a set for brides of color. And then I also have warm skin LUTs. So those are all on my store. If you guys want to check them out or pick them up, I'll actually add that to my I'll add that to the chat here. Let me just go. There's so much things going on here. Let me just add that to chat so that you guys have that. If you guys want to check that out later, you're more than welcome to check that out. All right. So we're almost done here. I'm gonna just show you a few other examples, and then we can keep it moving from here. Close up these here. All right, so this is some Sony A73 footage, and this is beautiful A73 footage. Really like it. It's cool. This young lady's name is Lovey, and she's a blogger, big time blogger, international speaker. Really cool person. So there we go. We got a LUT. We're gonna now go to brown bride LUTs, and we're gonna add brown bride 1, and voila, we got some really stylized, creamy, buttery skin. Now again, you can try different ones. I have some stylized stuff, and then I have some natural stuff. So if I go to, like, I don't know, 10, it's gonna be a little bit more stylized, right? So it's a little bit more warmer, has a little more crunch to it, but again, it has a really good look. And then others may not be appealing to you. Like if I go to, I think it's like 7, maybe it might be I'll go through a couple so you can see what they look like. Yeah, so this is like a stylized one. It's like a flip of the colors. I just wanted to kind of create something interesting. And then this one's another flip of colors, but you still have the skin tones coming out pretty well. And 11, which is a little bit more washed. Anyways, these are the ones that are available here. Let me go to one last one, and then we should be good to go and opened up for questions. Let me know if you have questions, and I'll answer them for you. So this is some outdoor Zcam footage here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my LUT again, and I am going to go to Zcam Cine look. Okay, it's a little blown out because outdoors. So what we have to do is we have to bring down our black a bit. Now sometimes with the Zcam, it creates blotching, It's just it's a known issue. It creates like really bad banding, but right now it's tolerable. So I'm just gonna warm this up a bit. Take out a little green. So if you're looking for something that's more of a retro look, you can do that. I'd probably bring my black up a bit. There you go. Right, so we're starting from this, let's say this to this. Again, only 2 steps. If we wanted to use some of the brown skin looks here, so it starts out here and then we can add some contrast, and then it gives us a certain look there. Now let's just say, for instance, you didn't want his skin to be that dark. You can also try the other LUT settings, and then once you adjust it, it's good. You can bring these back to the center, and then that will change and adjust the color tinting as well. Okay. Any questions at all about the LUTs? These are, let me jump over here. So if you are looking at picking up the LUTs, they are on sale. Well, I have some free ones. I have a Digital Storytellers starter kit, so it has a couple of LUTs available, and then I have this golden brown preset, which is for photos primarily, but you can use it for video as well. And then I have my Zcam brown skin LUTs. I have my Zcam Cine LUTs. I have my warm skin LUTs, my brown bride LUTs, and then brown skin LUTs. And those are all for Sony cameras. So FS5, FX6 or the X6 or whatever else. So any Sony cameras, primarily using picture profile 7. And then I also have my older LUTs, which are on sale as well, 10% off, and those are my Cinecut Lut Pack. So those are more like vintage, kind of like my style. That's really stylized, but it actually works really well with Sony cameras, and I use them often for specific looks or for a specific vibe. If I'm doing music videos or I'm doing some sort of creative shoot, then I'll use them, or I'll use them as a base point for interviews and things of that nature. So definitely check that out. I also have hoodies and sweaters and things of that nature. If you guys are interested in that, you can definitely check them out. I put in the live chat the link to the site. So if you do have any questions, or if you want me to try something now, I'm open to any sort of questions or anything that you guys want to check out. Do you want me to demo anything else? Is there any other thing that you want me to demo or showcase for you guys at all before I sign off? Let me know. I would love to know. You guys want me to demo anything else? I'm good to go if you are too. All right. Well, listen, guys, this was excellent. If you're watching this later on, please let me know where you're watching this from. If you're watching this, from Chicago, New York, Miami, Austria, Germany, Australia, wherever you are, let me know in the chat where you're from.